Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Slow Burn Pro Wrestling Podcast, where all professional wrestling storylines live. As always, I am your host, Matt Brandon, bringing you all professional wrestling's news, notes, innuendos, and anything you can think of that is the world of professional wrestling. And thanks for joining us here on this Saturday, not so short here on the Slow Burn. And we've got a lot to talk about. First off, apologies. I hate that I couldn't do the Friday show. Man, I usually love the Friday show because I get to talk a little bit about TNA, which, a lot of mainstream podcasts and mainstream media for professional wrestling don't really get to a ton. So I enjoy doing my TNA stuff. But I also get to set the stage for Smackdown, which is an awesome way to kind of cap off our wrestling week. But yesterday, well, not so much. All right. They said, big guy, you're not doing anything because kidney stones are here and we're ready to punch you right where you need to be punched. And that's exactly what happened. So dealing with some kidney stones, still not quite there. Back is hurting. You guys, if you've had them, you know what I'm talking about. I'm to that point. So like I'm just dealing with it. I'm coping and I got it. So if it gets any worse, I'll get it. We'll go. We'll take the next step, right? We'll take the next step. So anyway, that's the deal. So we got a lot to talk about, a ton to talk about actually. Like I said, SmackDown last night, great show on SmackDown, but I still need to recap a little bit of Collision from Thursday night. We had a fantastic TNA Impact from Thursday night. And then also, we need to go ahead and give our predictions for Backlash for tonight, live from St. Louis, Missouri, the greatest city in the universe. So, definitely a lot to go over. I don't want to go too fast in some places and not in others. So, we're just going to kind of go down the paper and see where we're at the end with enough time to do our predictions. So, if I spend too much time on one thing or another, we'll do that. But before I get started on the wrestling, and I promise we're going to spend enough time on the wrestling, okay? We need to talk about my situation, my bare wall situation. All right. It's all getting ready to change, guys. I'm getting ready. We're gonna have to pack up the equipment here pretty soon. My lights, camera, the few things that I was able to keep out when we're packing all of our stuff here. But we're getting ready to pack up because we're getting ready to leave this house next week. Actually, midweek we're going to be leaving this house, which has been home to the Brandons for a very long time. So we're going to be packing up, which means I'm packing up all the slow burn stuff. So that means the show is going to be a little sporadic. We've gotten into where we kind of do the show, unless I have kidney stones, pretty regularly. We know when we're going to do it. We know when we're off, when we're on. Well, this one we're going to start jumping around a little bit. I'm still going to do my updates on the Facebook machine. I'll still be doing my day in history, my birthdays, my pro wrestling birthdays, and things of that sort online. But I won't be doing as many shows as often. So, yeah, bear with me because then the move is going to happen. We're going to be creating our studio at the next place. And in the next few weeks, man, we're going to grow. And I can't wait to grow because, like I keep saying, there's so many goals that I have with this. I would like by the end of the summer to be up around 500 followers on the Facebook machine. Right now, we're like at 360. It's doable. We're like 100 likes. I would like to be up to 200 likes by the end of the summer. I would like for my YouTube subscribership to go up to 100. So we have goals, and that's the kind of stuff I really want to go over with you guys moving forward. And we're going to talk about more of that. But again, bear with me as this move is going on. Also, as we're dwindling down to the end of the school year, you guys know that's a big part about who I am and what I do. So, yeah, that's it. So bear with me, but let's get into the wrestling. All right. And I'll kind of fluctuate with my news on what we're all doing, but I can't wait to get out of the bare walls, right? And get the damn neon hung back up as I look at it sitting right over here. I need to pack that probably. Yeah. Collision, guys. Collision was good. We scored Collision a B. We had a lot of B work this week, man. And right now, Dynamite's leading the way for our week in review, which we'll do that tomorrow as we get ready to recap Backlash tomorrow as well. But on Collision, solid B show. We opened up with Tony in the balcony. Another show live from Detroit was at the Masonic Music Hall or whatever that was called. Think like old school music venue, theater with the big balcony coming out. Think like Muppet Show with Statler and Waldorf heckling people. That AEW is not half bad. No, it's all bad. Like that was what they're doing. That was actually not bad. That's probably the only Statler and Waldorf line I will be able to come up with on the fly. By the way, but yeah, I thought the Tony opening was really good. Great piece, great sexual innuendo from Tony as always. But Tony basically telling us she doesn't want to wait till All In. She's sitting back and waiting right now for the winner of Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter, Mercedes Moné, at Double or Nothing. So we're going to get that winner of Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter, Mercedes Moné. We're going to get that versus Tony Storm. And Tony says, I'm not going to wait. Like some champions might take some time off and love it and just wait for our big show and get it done, where I'll be fighting the winner of Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné. But like the whole idea here is Tony says, nah, I want to fight. So more open eliminator challenges, title eliminator challenges. It's going to be interesting to see the direction that goes. So we open things up with Ricochet over Angelico. Always nice to see Angelico on AEW TV. If you know anything about the great luchador, South African luchador Angelico from C-Mail, you know what I'm talking about. But my issue with this comes after the Ricochet match. By the way, more bald shaming. And I mean, just happens later in the show with Dax too. I'm as a bald man, I've about had my fill. I have had my fill. Let's just call it what it is. All right, somebody needs to step up and do something. All right, somebody really does. We need a bald spokesman. Where's Michael Jordan at when you need him? But after this match, Ricochet goes over Angelico, and then he looks in the crowd, and we see Zach Gowen. Now, if you don't know who Zach Gowen is, former WWE wrestler, and he is missing a leg. He has a prosthetic leg. His story's unreal. Like we know, like wow, what he has been able to do with his disability. It's pretty great. Like it's inspiring. However, we just had a WWE spot last week at the TLC match where a fan from WWE threw his prosthetic leg in. Now I'm starting to think maybe that was more of a plant than it was a true fan. I'm sorry, Lucha Biggie. I've heard all your stuff. You're not a plant. I know you're not a plant, but man, AEW kind of took your thunder in a way. I thought because Ricochet calls Zach Gowen out, and then anyway, he goes back in the ring. Zach Gowen comes into the ring. Next thing you know, Ricochet is kicking his ass. And not only is he kicking Zach Gowen's ass, he takes his leg. Not only does he hit, but he like takes the leg and uses it as a trophy, and he leaves. Like now, we're gonna get Ricochet versus Zach Gowen next week on Dynamite. Again, I'm not taking anything away from Zach Gowen. He's inspiring. But Ricochet's been doing such good work, and now we're going to put him in a match with Zach Gowen on a night where so many eyes are going to be on the product because we're getting Samoa Joe, John Moxley in a cage. Like, I don't know. That booking just doesn't seem to make any sense. Creative makes zero sense to me with that. And again, I'm not knocking Zach Gowen, but Ricochet is now going to be fighting Zach Gowen. Like, you just come off of this main event work that you've been doing. And I've been big on the Ricochet Young Bucks interaction. Like I even said the last show, put Ricochet in the Elite. Like keep that heel work going. And now we're going from that to fighting Zach Gowen on that. I don't know. The whole piece didn't work for me. I didn't care for it. Yeah, it is what it is. It's just one of those things that I don't understand. It's not going to make sense to me. And we had a freaking prosthetic leg piece last week on WWE television that was impromptu that worked, and now AEW does a prosthetic leg piece, and I just, man, oh man, we're freaking pandering. We're really pandering, and I just think that there's been so much stuff that was hot that wasn't needed. Like it just, there's so many things that could be done that's just not needed. Ricochet's gonna cut. I don't know. The whole piece didn't work for me. But that brought us to another All-Star tag match. I like this piece. You had the Callis family, Kyle Fletcher, Lance Archer, Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero. Love the fact we're getting Archer on television. Not sure why we have Kyle Fletcher wrestling in this match. I mean, Kyle Fletcher, we're promoting him as this main event guy. And now all of a sudden we're wrestling against the Outrunners, AR Fox, and Bandito. Same thing I'm going to say about the Outrunners. I would like to see the Outrunners with some Ring of Honor title run. And the reason being is because they're not fizzling out. Like they're still getting fantastic pops. They're still doing in great ring work. The freaking double bicep, Turbo Floyd, you son of a bitch. It's like it's still red hot. So, and then here we go. They lose again, and I don't know. Sometimes the way that the mid stuff like that is booked doesn't make any sense to me. The same thing can be said with the Kyle Fletcher though. Like I said, why is Kyle Fletcher in a damn 8-man tag match? I know that Rocky Romero just came into the Callis family. I know Trent Beretta just got back. But what you do there is why not have it be Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, Lance Archer gets on television, which is fantastic since he hasn't been on a ton of TV with Brian Cage being hurt. And then have them go with Outrunners, I guess. And, you got Bandito and AR Fox. Bandito's the Ring of Honor champion, and we're bringing him out to lose with the Outrunners and AR Fox. I don't know. The whole thing just doesn't make any sense to me. But the match itself was really good. The match itself was outstanding. Loved the AR Fox off of Bandito's shoulders. Like there was really good spots. So it's kind of one of those things that, all right, the story's not there, but the match really worked. So I don't know. But again, glad to see Lance Archer on. I said Ansel Archer. Glad to see Ansel Archer on TV. But my note on this match was simple. It just is, and that's how I feel. I'm not really sure. Like I'm not mad about it, but I'm not necessarily okay with it. I have a couple things I don't like, and then a couple things that I really like. By the way, great to see Trent Beretta back on TV too. I don't know. Do you kind of miss Chuck Taylor? Does anybody miss the Kentucky Gentleman? Is that just me? Me? Okay. Uh, Another Anthony Bowen sighting, the 5'2" player over Lee Johnson. Great to see Billy Gunn kind of coming into that managerial role. I guess he's not going to wrestle anymore. And I get that. Right off into the sunset, even though you look better than friggin' 90% of all the wrestlers out there. Had a Gates of Agony promo. Looked like Gates of Agony going babyface. I kind of like that. Really enjoyed the Big Bill Bad Apple fighting off into the stands with the Gates of Agony again. That's two shows in a row where we're getting some story with that. And like I said the other day, if I get Big Bill fighting Toa Leona, like that's fun to me. Those are two monsters. That's two big meaty men slapping meat, as we say. The Stat Willow thing was an interesting match. And again, we need to speed up just a little bit. Willow loses to Stat, but that's because Marina Shafir of the Death Riders gets involved. Marina hits Willow with the chain. Stat throws her finisher on him, ends up getting the 1-2-3. Stat unaware that Willow has been hit with the chain, so she kind of reaps the benefits of the cheat, but doesn't know that she's reaped the benefits of the cheat. But let me ask you this. I'm just throwing this out there. If we want to bulk up the women's side of these stories, how about Stat saying, okay, well, I've tried to go back and be your friend, Willow. You don't want me as a friend. You were okay fighting me and get that respect, blah, blah, blah. But yet I win and I got help, even though I didn't know I got help. Maybe these people are the ones I should be friends with. And then you see a Stat Marina Shafir partnership along with the Death. Maybe that's part of the Death Rider storyline that I'm missing that I need. Just throwing it out there, right? So, what else did we got? Oh, by the way, at the end of that segment, Thakala, I believe is how it's pronounced, from Stardom. Looks like a little signature spider sign coming in. She's Austrian superstar. I've looked up a few of her stuff on YouTube. Thakala, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Anyway, saw a little of that. I didn't notice it on Dynamite. Apparently there was a sign on Dynamite as well. Josh Alexander and Takeshita, they went over the Dark Order. Hey, we had a Dark Order signing. Always great to see an Evil Uno Hurricane Rana. I say that for real. Like the guy does stuff that he shouldn't be able to do. He's fun and he sells better than just about anybody in a mask. But Alexander goes over Speedball over Drolistico. Kind of figured that was going to happen. Great match, hard hitting, lucha style. Speedball can wrestle any style in the world. Afterwards, though, is when the real fireworks happen, and they don't even touch. Roosh comes out. We get a little standoff. Guys, we are going to get Roosh and Speedball, and we are all going to be better off for it. Just be happy for yourselves, guys. Just be happy that we're going to get that. And then we had our main event, Daniel Garcia against a member of FTR. You knew it was going to be Dax. You knew it was Dax Harwood. Really good match. Really good, hard-hitting match. FTR cheats, Stoke gets the ref's way, and then before you know it, Nigel has come back out. He's defending Shivani. We get Nigel, we get Daniel Garcia. It ends up going to a no contest. Daddy Magic comes out to help Daniel Garcia. Hell yeah, let's go. Let's go. I don't need Stokely. I mean, again, I'm going to stick to that. That Stokely Hathaway means nothing of this whatsoever, but Nigel McGuinness, Daddy Magic, Daniel Garcia taking on FTR, and there's somebody else coming. I mean, it's exciting to me. So yeah, great job. Again, the show was a B, a hell of a collision, and I don't know, collision on a Thursday night worked for me. It really did. Speaking of Thursday nights, we get the TNA Impact. We're gonna go fast here, guys. It was once again in Irvine. The crowd not as hot as it had been the previous couple nights. That's how these runs go. When you've done so many shows in a row at the same place, it's usually the same people in the crowd, and they're about done. So the run in Irvine is done, but still a decent crowd. The opening part of this show was the best part with Trick Williams giving his pro. I am loving the Trick Williams heel work. He is doing fantastic work. Joe Hendry comes out, and we get the square off. Freaking security comes in. Joe Hendry looked strong, but he looked mean. We're going to get some violence here. I'm telling you, man, we're getting the best work out of both of these guys right now. And now we know Joe Hendry's going to defend the TNA championship on NXT Battleground against Trick Williams. Like, that's awesome. TNA belt being defended on an NXT PLE. Trick's doing some of this fantastic work, and it's been a slow burn, folks. And speaking of which, joining us on the slow burn, Trick Williams, and I said this a long time ago, that Trick, like even with the Eddie Thorpe stuff a while back, that Trick was slowly getting more and more heelish. It wasn't like Carmelo did last year to Trick, where it was kind of all of a sudden, I've turned my back. We've seen this Trick progression, and I say progression because I think it's the best work that he's done, because he is playing that role of the badass heel. Everything that I'm doing is right because I'm saying it's right. I'm the one that has gotten screwed. So great job with Trick. The Hendry stuff is going to be good. It's going to be a violent encounter. So yeah, super excited to see where this goes. It's going to grow and it's going to grow. So, and the other thing was more interactions too with Trick and some of the TNA people. Had that interaction backstage with Mike Santana that I really liked, because Mike Santana wants a shot at the belt as well. So and we get the pan out to Elijah, who also probably wants a shot. Like, it could be interesting to see. There's a lot of storyline possibilities there with TNA right now. Speaking of which, we're just going down the line here. Lee Ying Lee over Rosemary. We had Zaya Brookside on commentary. Great job, Zaya, by the way. She's being kind of pulled in different directions there, but Lee Ying Lee goes over. Like I said, mentioned the Santana stuff backstage with Trick. That was great. But then we had a Santana interaction with Sami Callihan, basically giving him his flowers for the badass match he had with Mance Warner. But then we get something even better, which, well, actually, hold on, I'd be remiss that Jeff Goblin, all right, or Gobklin or something like that. That's a scary dude. I want no part of that. Like, stop that. No. That ain't cool, Sammy. That ain't cool. But we had AJ Francis, and AJ Francis coming and getting a little Mike Santana stuff. I'm good with that. These guys are both doing great work. I didn't want Mike Santana going heel yet, and that was what's going to happen if we get Santana Joe Hendry right now. So give Santana somebody in the meantime. What better person than AJ Francis? So really like that backstage work. Great job. That story's going to be really good. Looking forward to seeing that stuff. The Great Hands, part of Order 4, they come out. They take one on the chin here as the Aztec Warriors, Laredo and Octagon Jr., formerly Laredo Kid, they go over John Schuyler and Jason Hotch, the Great Hands. And I didn't like that. It was a good match. John Schuyler's still one of the best damn workers that you're ever going to see. I just didn't like it. I don't know. The match didn't work for me. And then Mustafa comes out and he looks fantastic. No longer is he the pompous, arrogant heel. Now he's got this mean streak. Um, but he doesn't come out and do anything for the great hands, but then they do stuff for him. So I'm really liking that angle. And honestly, that mean streak in Mustafa Ali was sweet. It looked really, really good. I enjoyed that piece. Indy Hartwell had a great little vignette. We're going to get that. The Hardys come out, nail a promo. Super great promo, passionate promo from both guys, but especially Matt Hardy. I believe in Matt Hardy. Um, and the Nemeths, they do their part. Love Ryan Nemeth getting more time on the mic with his big brother. Uh, it was good. Victoria Crawford squash match. By the way, set up that at Under Siege, we're going to get who we getting? The Hardys, right? Yeah, not all the Hardys though, because they made the comment that Jeff Hardy can't go to Canada because of his legal stuff. So it was a decent little dig by the Nemeths. I enjoyed that part. This story's far from over. All right, it's going to be a matter of time with that story. So great job. Victoria Crawford had a squash match. Lots of chaos is set up with that, with Tessa Blanchard getting involved, Masha coming down and getting involved. Masha's going to choose her partner at Under Siege. We'll see. And then the main event, we had Steve Macklin in the bloodiest match I've seen in a very long time. Dog collar match going over on EY, on Eric Young, retaining his international belt. So decent night of TNA. We scored it a B as well. Let's get down to SmackDown, guys. We need to roll pretty quick through this as we're running out of time. Damian Priest opens the show on his walkthrough with LA Knight. LA Knight looked great on the mic. I thought Damian Priest looked very scripted. It wasn't as good as what it could have been. But they open up in a tag match with Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. And I'm going to tell you, this match was fantastic. I've read that, like, oh, it's the typical match where, one team gets over and the other team. Yeah, it was the typical match. Of course it was. LA Knight and Damian Priest aren't going to get along. They're getting ready to have a match against each other. Yet they're both good guys, so you throw them together. Never going to work. It's like oil and water, right? So that's part of the story. Then Solo, who's been, by the way, good Solo, man. I remember a couple months ago you were main eventing PLEs, and now your music doesn't even hit anymore. You almost feel bad for the guy, but he will crawl out. He will be fine because that's just too good of a character to keep missing. But Solo gets beat up on. You knew that was going to happen, just like you knew Damien and LA were going to argue, and you knew that Jacob Fatu was going to dominate and he was going to do his, but you didn't know Drew McIntyre was going to mess the whole damn thing up. Claymore, freaking Jacob Fatu, and I cannot wait for this U.S. title match tonight on Backlash. Way to set the show up. We were off and running, man. We were off and running, and here we go. A typical tag match like that was just what the doctor ordered. How could you not like that typical tag match? Anybody that says they didn't is crazy. That whole thing from beginning to end completely worked, except for maybe the opening little bit on the mic. The whole match from beginning to end was outstanding. Loved it. All right. Chelsea Green once again gets screwed over. She doesn't even get a chance to mourn her title loss once again, as Sir Nicholas the Pickles sets up a match. However, we get a return in that. Now, my good friend Chad, I know you were there. I know it, by the way, hot crowd in Dayton, I'm sure. But Chad texts me, he's like, great return. And I haven't started it yet. He doesn't spoil anything for me, so thank you for that. But I'm going to say, I looked at my wife and I was like, all right, we're getting a return. And I go down this list of who it's going to be. It could be this person. It could be this person. I've heard this rumor. I've heard that. I didn't go Alexa Bliss at any point. So you got me on that one. Great pop, by the way. Dayton crowd definitely excited to see Alexa Bliss. Her timing was off just a little bit, as it usually is when you first come back, but ring rust was not there. All right. And I thought she looked very good. But I thought Chelsea looked fantastic, as always. The real question is what's next for Alexa? Could it be something maybe with Charlotte? Because we had the Charlotte promo as well. I thought the Charlotte promo missed until she got to the back, where Nick kind of says, you can't be this whiny little bitch that runs off all the time. You can't, you got to face your problems. that should have been done out in front of the crowd. Like if that would have been done out in the crowd, man, I thought it would have been a great piece. But maybe Alexa and Charlotte, maybe a little program there, kind of suits both superstars for just a little while and kind of polar opposites of each other. I don't know. It could be something. Just saying. The little interaction with Jade, by the way, with Charlotte was very good. But the whole Jade thing with her match with Nia was excellent. Tiffy comes out, sits on the sidelines. She's watching this happen. The winner of Nia and Jade is going to get a shot at Tiffy. Nia goes over. And why does Nia go over? Because Naomi is awesome. Naomi comes out and she doesn't screw Jade over. She comes out and beats the hell out of Tiffy, which gets Jade's attention, which screws Jade's over. So what you get out of this is Naomi saying she's going to get in this title picture, and at the same time, not quite done with Jade yet either. I thought the Naomi stuff was great. I thought that Nia looked fantastic, and here we go. Are you ready for this? I thought that that's the best in-ring work that Jade Cargill has ever done. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the match hit from beginning to end. I thought Tiffy was fantastic with the way she was selling on the outside. Yeah, the whole thing worked. Great, great job, ladies. Great piece. One of the reasons why SmackDown was a B this week. Really was. So awesome, awesome job. Street Profits come out. Man, they're selling the hell out of their injuries from TLC. Didn't like Montez saying that it was the greatest TLC match of all time because it was not. That's TLC 2 with the Dudley Boys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian. But it was a hell of a match that they had. But here comes Fraxium, and I was happy. All right, Fraxium ends up getting a little kind of an eliminator match, and they go over. And I want to tell you, the match was perfect. Great story because Street Profits selling those injuries the whole entire time. Also, the injuries made the match move a little slower, which is going to give so much room for growth with these teams. I mean, this is really great job. It was just another perfect segment coming off of the Great Women segment. This is where the show it started hitting. All right, it really did. Aleister Black over Mello. Mello, again, great dance partners. The story was kind of weird. The end kind of cleaned it up with Miz getting kicked in the head again. But I don't know. Aleister Black is a tough guy as far as timing. And, it's tough to go with him. And I thought Mello was fantastic. All right. I thought Mello was very, very good in that. We had a lucha tag on Andrade and Rey Fenix going over against Garza. At the end, Garza has a split as Berto goes off on Santos. So a lot to go on there. Glad we're getting some more action with the lucha stuff when we're getting that AAA edition. So we're going to increase luchador visibility. Good. Bring it, bring it, bring it. And that brings us to the main event, guys. And John Cena, by the way, did you guys see my John Cena heel shirt? The last real champion. I told you I would do it. All right. I told you. It took me a bit, but I felt like this was it. So we got it. But anyway, the Cena, oh my God, the Cena promo was so good. Such a dick. Like, he's going to ruin wrestling for all you kids. He's going to ruin wrestling for all the people that worshipped him when he was younger. Like, he's going to ruin Randy Orton's family's name. By the way, don't talk shit about Cowboy Bob Orton. All right, say whatever you want about the first, right? That's fine, but Cowboy Bob Orton deserves your respect, damn it. So good. So good. Great piece. Then we get a fake Randy Orton. Cena takes him out. By the way, that was Shawn Spears of NXT, if you didn't know. We get Randy Orton giving him the RKO, and it was just a perfect ending to an excellent show. It really was. As Cena is left laying in the middle of the ring, Orton goes over, and it tells me everything I need to know about tonight. Orton loses in his hometown. All right. Speaking of which, let's do Backlash. I almost said Backlash. All right, let's do Backlash. Live from St. Louis, the greatest city in the world tonight. We're going Cena over Randy Orton in a hell of a classic match. We're going Jacob Fatu over LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. I'm going Becky Lynch over Lyra Valkyria. I'm going Gunther over Pat McAfee. Might have a return here. I hope it's not true. I'm a Bret Hart guy forever. But I'm going Gunther over Pat McAfee, and I'm going Dominic Mysterio retaining the IC belt over Penta. So Cena over Orton, Fatu over LA Knight, Priest, and McIntyre, Becky over Lyra, Gunther over McAfee, and Dirty Dom over Penta. Backlash tonight. Hey, if any of my friends are going, any of my people are going, somebody pick me up that John Cena blues shirt. The blues with the arch. Yeah, somebody grab that shirt for me. It's pretty freaking awesome, right? So, and we'll be checking it out. And tomorrow, we'll do the Sunday Week in Review, and I'll recap this whole thing, guys. Backlash is going to be fantastic. Thanks for joining us here on the Slow Burn Pro Wrestling Podcast, where all professional wrestling storylines live.